so we're going to have a great workshop here today. It's not a workshop.
I haven't seen...
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's not a seminar.
It's not a seminar, no. How many people brush your teeth in the morning? Okay, hopefully everyone. Okay, so I didn't see your hand there, Helen. Okay, good. Hey, I've been doing these workshops for a while, and I think if you do anything every morning, you should always brush your teeth. You should probably do this, because what I want to show you is how to activate your brain. I mean, the title of this workshop is how to, hey, how you doing? Late for work late. How to improve your memory, but what we're really going to do is promote blood flow to your brain. And you have this fluid around your spinal cord and your brain called CSF, which stands for cerebral spinal fluid. So we're going to show you how you can really crank things up in the morning. This is an applied kinesiological technique. It's a cranial correction. We're going to show you how to do. This is really important. Probably what I would do is if you're going to be taking a shower, I'm not going to ask how many people take a shower because, well, not everyone takes every one day. Some people actually take 2 a day.
Me.
That's a little, do you? Hey, high five. All right. They say 3 is the charm, right? I'm not sure. Oh, you do too? Oh, wow. Okay. So what we're going to do is going to show you how to do this and what this is, because it is a cranial correction, and I said it stimulates cerebral spinal fluid production. You're going to see a systemic effect. In other words, you're going to see a huge difference in before and after range of motion. It's really powerful technique. So of all the things you've learned and all the times you've been coming here, I think this is one technique you should really master, and it's not that hard. As a matter of fact, it's pretty easy. But you know what? We're all here because we want to stay healthy, right? And you want, most of you are patients here, so some of you are not. If you're not, maybe you should be here, but I'm going to show you the benefits of staying healthy through your nervous system, because we see this chart here. Hey, how you doing? Hey, come on back. Tim's right here. And see, if you see this chart here, you know, you can see how the organs are hooked up to the nerves, and the brain actually sends messages down the spinal cord into the nerves. And when you have a misalignment in your spine, that affects the impulses from the brain going to particular parts of the body. And these misalignments we call are subluxations. Now, sometimes you can see this and you go, well, that makes sense. But you know what the funny thing about these bones that are placed in your neck and back is 90% of the time you don't have any pain. 90%. Or get phrased alternatively, only 10% of the time that you do. So you could be walking around all day long not knowing that you have a bone in a place in your neck, but that organ or gland or tissue is being deprived of nerve flow. You know, and that's the essence of disease. That's where it all starts from. And so when you see this, and you just heard what I just said, you can say, well, hey, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is from an anatomy book. That kind of makes sense. But you know what? I'm kind of scientific. You might be saying that to yourself. Give me proof. Well, I'll give you proof. 1/3 of the United States will die of some sort of heart disease. Wow. That's not my opinion. It's a public fact. 1/3. That's a lot of people, isn't it? I've been practicing for how many years? 30? How many people under my care died of a heart attack? 1/3? No, 0. None. I had this one guy come in one time talking about heart disease. It's kind of a funny story. I happened to be getting some water. I just treated the patient, and he happened to be buying some calcium. Just walked up the street. It's a crazy story. And I asked him, hey, why are you buying calcium? Why do you think you need calcium? He says, well, you know, it's funny. I have this rapid heartbeat, but it's not all the time. I just get about 2 or 3 times a week, and it wakes me up and I'm sweating. And I went to a cardiologist. They made me wear this Holter monitor for 3 days. Nothing showed up. They were going to send me to a psychiatrist because they thought it was all in my head. It's not in my head. The only problem is it's not there all the time. So I think maybe I need some calcium to calm myself down. You know what I'm saying? I said, you know what? Well, maybe you should check me out. I should check you out. He said, but he doesn't have any back pain, he told me. This got 0 to do with it. So when I x-rayed him, his x-ray in his upper back had a real sharp divot, like a disc bulge, right between the shoulder blades on the left side, the nerve impinged to the heart. That's what his problem was. He goes, well, you know, I got nothing to lose, so I started treating him. You know what? His problem actually went away and never came back. I mean, he sent me a ton of people. This really works. So if you're not a patient here, you should be. And so, Bruce, it looks like you're a good reader, aren't you? You can try. Where's your handout?
Helen has it. We have
Okay, so why don't you read, go back on the first page there. Is that cigar for me?
No, it's not true.
Is that one of those candy cigars?
Advice, right? Okay, what do you want me to do?
I'll read the first page.
This one.
Well, where it says under Thomas Edison.
The doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest her or his patients in the care of the human frame, in a proper diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease.
Right, and so I think I'm doing that now. I mean, Thomas Edison said that in the 1880s. I mean, that's a long time ago. Since you're such a good reader, can you turn it over, please? And go on the second page. Now, can you, oops, I'm sorry, I can fix your foot now. Can you read what it says here, underneath that triangle there?
It's a tough picture. It says, man possesses a potential for recovery through the innate intelligence of a human structure.
So human structure, Dr. George Goodhart said that in 1964. He's the founder of applied kinesiology. Thomas Edison said human frame. It's the same thing. So if you look at that diagram there, you'll see like it's a triangle. And you see structures on the bottom of that triangle. And it's the foundation. And it's not just a coincidence that it's there. I mean, everything hinges on your structure. So for example, if you look on the side there where it says chemical, if you have a chemical imbalance in your body, what's going to happen? It's going to trickle down to the structure. For example, I'll give you, this is one I like to use because it's really, really common. If you have a calcium deficiency in your body, let's say you're not consuming enough calcium or you're not absorbing it, then your muscles are going to get very, very tight because they need a lot of calcium. So if they get tight, they tighten up everything, including the spine. They pull things out of place, and before you know it, that chemical imbalance has trickled down to the structure. And then you'll have subluxations, and then you'll have a problem with one of your organs, all because of that calcium deficiency. I mean, there's other examples. I use them because it's very common. Let's say you had a fight with each other for some reason. You guys never fight, do you? Love you birds, okay. But in case you did, you might get a little upset, and you know what happens? The hydrochloric acid secretion in your stomach is inhibited, slows down and stops. The food that you eat won't get absorbed. You get another calcium, for example, deficiency because of that fight you had the other day. Your muscles get tightened up, bones go out of place, it's trickled down to the structure. So all these things go in that triangle. That's why we call it a triad of health. It's all equilateral. And so the circles you see around that triangle is what you would need to do to fix your whatever problem you have. N stands for nerve. CSF is what we're going to be talking about today, cerebral spinal fluid. NV is neurovascular. Neurolymphatics, NL, and then AMC is acupuncture meridian connectors. So what we're going to talk about is CSF. Now, what happens is when how many people stand all day long? Raise your hands. I do, actually. I really do. How many sit a lot of time of the day? Yeah, see, the majority of people do. So why am I asking this? Because when you sit, it's hard to keep good posture when you're sitting. Eventually you're going to go and slouch. Big deal. What happens? Your cranial bones get stuck together. So I'm going to show you how you can open up your cranial bones very easily and very effectively. And like I mentioned before, it's going to be a systemic effect. So yes, we all can use improved memory, but we want to promote the blood flow to the area. So I'm going to show you how we do this. I'm going to pick a volunteer. So how we do that, I'm going to get everyone to stand up, please. Cross your arms. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get, yeah, now you got the idea, Teresa. Okay, so I want everyone to twist to the left. And then twist to the right.